You're listening to the Toast Breakfast Show with Nick Eroll. This is Up FM 107.5.
A very good morning to you. 19 minutes past 9. Monday, the week has started. I am talking to a very clever man right now. Kerry, are you there, my man?
I am, mate.
How are you?
I'm good, bud. I'm good.
That's good. That's good that you're good. It's good to see you good.
It is indeed.
What have you been up to this weekend?
This weekend actually moving house, of all things.
Really? Brittany's just done that?
No, well, I'm doing it tonight.
Oh, well, she's doing it tonight.
So that's all good, but there's obviously just a lot of gear and stuff to move around, so...
This would be true.
It's a mission, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I hate moving house.
Yeah, well, it's good, though. You get to set everything up new and fresh at the new place, I guess.
True, it's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
And so you are, of course, playing down at Technical Sessions on Tuesday, the 27th of April. Is that correct?
Well, actually, more correctly, I'm being interviewed at the Technical Sessions tomorrow.
Interviewed? Oh.
Nice. Just, that's cool. Now, for those of us that don't quite know, your name is Mr. Very Cool. We'll just call you Kerry because it's simple. The name you should remember, though, is Bromide Dub. Now, explain why you are so amazing.
Oh, nice. Okay, Bromide Dub's basically a live act. So what I'm doing whenever I'm playing out is I've just got a pile of old, like, traditional style drum machines and synthesizer and bits and pieces, and I essentially get up on stage and with some small short loops and stuff create electronic music pretty much on the fly up on stage. So I guess the big thing is every time anybody comes to hear me, there's a real good chance I'll never hear that set quite like that again, ever.
It's intriguing, eh? That sounds so epic. Brit's like in amazement. She's like, this is so cool.
It is unlike anything I've ever experienced before. So tell us about the new remix you've just released.
I just did a remix for a good mate, Ivan, NSU. So he did a track and handed it off to a couple of us to do remixes. He actually had the video release last Thursday, which was pretty goddamn cool, for a couple of guys putting together their own video. He's done an astounding job. Cool. So I did a remix for that. Actually, I mean, that was a studio mix rather than, I guess, a live mix. But yeah, that'll be, it'll be out here, there and everywhere now. There's actually two versions on there. There's a studio mix and then a more DJ-friendly mix as well.
And where can we find them?
They should be on all your normal digital sites, so I probably should know this off the top of my head. I would assume your Junos and your bits and pieces like that. I mean, the best way for any of that is to jump onto, Facebook and hunt down NSU, or Bromide Dub would be the other one, and you'll soon find links and heaps of pictures and videos and all sorts of stuff for it.
When did you first get into production?
As a kid with our first computer, so probably over like 15, 16 years ago, using old tracking programs. So I don't know if anyone who's listening might know what a tracker is, but it was the equivalent of writing electronic music on a spreadsheet. So
nice. And like, do you find now that you pretty much come up with loops on the spot live, do you find your production a lot faster than other people's, or pretty much on par?
I'd have to compare, but I think I've been doing it for a long time anyway, and this project was partly me just trying to figure out how I could take the studio environment kind of live.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, I mean, at the moment I've got like an 808 and a 909 which I drag up on stage, and once you know how they work, to program them is actually pretty quick. You can either tap them in, so you're just tapping the drums in, or it's just a 16-step sequencer, so you can load it in quite quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I've got some simple like motifs and bits and pieces that are already there, but like I did a couple of shows last week actually, and I pretty much all the drums on that 808 and the 909 just get programmed in on the night on the fly. So
a lot of people would pretty much have the idea in their head, but how did you first start being like, no, actually every man and his dog thinks about it, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to like do live making loops while people are like dancing in a dance party. How cool would that be? How did you go from that thought to, I'm gonna do this? Like, I know so much now that I'm just going to take it to the next level.
Well, I guess it was just a natural progression. I was also looking for, I've DJed for about 15 odd years as well. And
yeah.
Could see all the guys who were coming through and doing the Ableton kind of DJ live sets where they're basically DJing in Ableton and throwing effects on it, and that was the live show. And I always kind of thought, well, if we've got this gear that we can do it, why don't we go and just create something a little bit more unique for people, you know? And the other thing is it's you just spend enough time, I guess, playing with the gear that you get comfortable. I'd still say there's a real good chance stuff goes horribly wrong on the night, and you have it's part of the excitement for me, you know?
This is true. It just brings that extra element to it that makes it so much more, so much more professional.
And as long as people, I guess, kind of realise that I am doing it live and I'm not necessarily DJing, they allow for that, and you get a different reaction as well, because
exactly.
people know you're generating something live.
Well, exactly. If you're a band and you're playing an instrument and you strum a wrong chord, you strum a wrong chord, don't you?
And people hear it. So you mentioned that you've been DJing for about 15 odd years. Where do you see yourself, Bromide Dub or just Kerry Adams, in 15 years?
15 years time? I don't know. The technology and everything's changing so quickly anyway that it's hard to tell what the dancing or anything would look like in 15 years time. I would love to be able to get overseas and play some of the bigger festivals and at the same time some of the smaller, I suppose, little clubs overseas. I tend to play quite a techie and quite a minimal sound, and while there is a scene here in New Zealand that's pretty small, so I guess any artist at some point goes, oh well, do I need to look overseas for it?
For sure, and look to bigger heights.
One downside about New Zealand, we're just a very small country.
Well, it's just it's a great country. It's just a numbers game. That's all of it. You know, you can have a scene which is, say, 1% of the populace or something like that. In New Zealand, that's not big enough. Overseas, it's big enough to fill a stadium. You know.
And you never know. Like, you give it 5 years, minimal, and could just blast out, and everyone start listening to it. You know, it's
minimal could be the new dubstep.
Exactly. We are ever changing so quickly.
It's all about advertising and getting in with the kids.
With the kids.
It's an interesting. The other thing I've noticed with the live shows, because I guess it's live, you can also, and I tend to do more and more of it, I start a set that's kind of downbeat or hip hop, and then go through house, go through techno.
Yeah.
Later I go into dubstep if I feel like I could play some drum and bass. You can kind of, again, because you're playing live, people kind of allow you to swing a little bit more than, say, a DJ could.
Heck yeah. Well, when can we next check you out?
Okay, so what's actually happening tomorrow night is it's basically an interview with me. Once a month I do a interview with some of the country's like top DJs and producers, and we call it technical sessions.
Yep.
Tomorrow I've been getting asked by a lot of people to actually kind of reverse it and get up and talk myself and let one of the other guys interview me. So that's what we're doing tomorrow night.
Cool.
So if anyone's into production or wanting to learn a bit more, or just find out how I do stuff or how people do stuff, we've got basically a session down at the Red Bull Studios tomorrow night. And people are more than welcome. You can just come in and have a talk and have a beer and have a Red Bull.
Fantastic. Sounds like a bit of a plan.
Yeah.
If you'd like to know more, you can go to www.upfm.dj. It's on our events page. Check out all the details, and it's just waiting for you there. Thank you very much for talking to us, Kerry.
Thank you very much, guys.
No worries. You have a fantastic day.
Cheers. See you later.
See you, mate.
If you missed any of that information, of course, it's the technical sessions featuring Bromide Dub tomorrow night between 8 and 11 p.m. at the Red Bull Studio.